morning po sa lahat ng mga kadete nationwide from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Sa lahat po ng mga kadete natin, ng mga estudyante pa lamang, mga kadete natin who will be taking the criminologist licensure examination. Kumusta na po ang lahat? May prayer, may hope na ang lahat po ay makapasa sa board examination. Okay? Sana po lahat ay magiging registered criminologist. Sa lahat din po ng mga review lecturers, mga professors, mga respectable deans po natin, pati na po yung mga non-criminology students who are listening and watching right now, welcome po sa Bikuino. Ang Bikuino po, isa po itong platform sa YouTube na nagbibigay po ng libre at comprehensive na discussion. Mga kadete, allow me to have a minute to advertise again or promote yung libro po natin, yung Bikuino book. Okay? Ang Bikuino book po mga kadete, especially yung mga estudyante and mga reviewers right now ha, ang Bikuino book, 2 chapters po ito, naka-arrange na po ang chapter 1 in different major areas. Yung 6 major areas, naka-arrange na po yan. Very important po, wag na po kayong magtanong kung naka-align ba sa TOS natural, i-align natin sa table of specification. Kung ano po yung topics na didiscuss ko po dito, yun din po ang topics na makikita po natin sa libro po natin. Yun po ang chapter 1 ha. Chapter 2, compilation po yan sa mga previous questions po sa criminologist licensure examination. Napakaganda po ng libro. You can take a look on the different testimonies or yung picture mismo ng libro. Nasa Facebook page po natin yung Bikuino. Okay? Kindly search it para at least mag-avail po ang lahat. So marami po ang nag-avail already. By the way, I'd like to appreciate sa lahat din po ng hindi nag-skip ng ads. Maraming salamat ha. We got sweldo ba ang tawag dyan? We got the fund from YouTube. And some of the amount, we utilize it in helping the dialysis patients in Negros Oriental. May mga pobre din po dito na hindi naman dialysis patients na tinutulungan pa din po natin. Kasi nga po, yung mga kapatiran po dito sa Negros Oriental po natin ay hindi po lahat mapera. Okay? So, tinutulungan po natin through the fund that we get from YouTube. So, maraming salamat ha sa hindi po nag-skip ng ads. So, again, mag-avail po. Sana ang lahat ha. I hope ang lahat po ay mag-avail. Okay? Mga cadets, mga non-criminology students who are watching right now, tapos na po tayo sa episode 1. Do not jump to episode 2. Okay? Punta muna kayo sa episode 1 pag new viewer ka po or new subscriber. Sa episode 2, sa episode na ito, pag-usapan natin itong rules of admissibility of evidence. Pag-usapan din po natin yung documentary evidence, judicial notice. Okay? So, without further ado, unahin natin itong introduction and the rules of admissibility of evidence. Ibig sabihin, yung mga batas natin or yung mga sinusunod po natin na rules para ang isang ebidensya will be accepted in the court. Okay? Sige. Under Philippine law, for a piece of evidence to be admissible, it must satisfy two primary requirements. Ito po yung nakasaad sa evidence po natin. Evidence na ruling. Una, dapat ang evidence po, para magiging acceptable siya sa korte, dapat relevant siya. Relevance. Or materiality and probativeness. Ano ba ang relevance? Is the logical relation. Ibig sabihin, related siya. Logical relation of the evidence to the fact in issue. Ibig sabihin, may isang issue that needs to be proven. Okay? For example, you need to prove to the court that it was Juan. It was Juan who stabbed Pedro. So, ano yung ebidensya to prove that he was really the one who stabbed Pedro? So, probably a knife. So, related yung knife. Pero pag nag-present ka, painting, isang painting that you presented in the court, is it related? Is it in logical relation to the issue? Hindi. So, basically, irrelevant siya. Hindi siya admissible. Dapat relevant. Or, an item of evidence is relevant if it has any value in proving or disproving a fact that is of consequence to the outcome of the case. Very easy. Ibig sabihin, related siya sa kaso, related siya sa issue, it could either prove that this person stabbed this guy, or it could disprove that it was not this person who stabbed this individual. Yon, relevant siya. Okay? Relevance. Ibig sabihin, related. Pangalawa, dapat competence. Okay? Ano ibig sabihin ng competence? Non-exclusion by law or rules. Kahit relevant siya, pero hindi siya competent. Bakit incompetent yung isang evidence? Incompetent nga po, kasi nga po, excluded siya sa batas eh. Ang evidence is not excluded or disqualified. If it is not excluded or disqualified, competent siya. Kailan po magiging excluded siya sa batas? Ibig sabihin, ito yung mga ebidensya na pinipresent po doon sa korte, although related siya sa kaso, pero yung pagkuha sa ebidensya na ito ay hindi naman naayon sa batas. For example, for a person to confess, binugbog mo muna. You torture the guy. You torture the suspect. After you torture the suspect, natural, physical pain yan eh. You tell the suspect, if you will not confess, I will shoot you. Natural mag-confess yan kasi takot yan sa police officer eh. Ang confession, related ba sa kaso? Natural, it's related. Relevant pa siya? Relevant. Pero ang tanong, competent pa? Hindi. Hindi siya competent kasi nga po, excluded siya sa batas. Dapat po, ang pagkuha ng ebidensya ay naaayon po sa batas po natin. So, hindi siya competent. Incompetent siya. Dapat kasi masatisfy ang dalawang criteria na ito. Criteria number 1, relevance. Criteria number 2, competence. Pag isa lang yung present dyan, case yan, inadmissible yan sa korte. Okay? Now, note mga kadete, ang admissibility of evidence should not be equated with a weight of evidence. Iba yung weight of evidence, iba yung admissibility of evidence. Again, when we say admissibility of evidence, it will depend on two criteria, the relevance and the competence. While when we say weight of evidence, it would pertain to the evidence already admitted and its tendency to convince or to persuade the court. Ibig sabihin ng weight of evidence, yung ability ng isang ebidensya to persuade or to convince to the court that this is really what happened. Yun ang weight of evidence. Pero pag admissibility, ibig sabihin, ito yung relevance and competence of a particular evidence for it to be accepted in the court. Okay? Napaka-klaro ng discussion natin ha. Sige, pag-usapan natin fruit of the poisonous tree. Dapat sa lahat ng mga second year, third year dyan, dapat alam nyo na po yung principle ng fruit of the poisonous tree, ha? Okay, unang term, fruit. Fruit. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng fruit? Ang fruit yung bunga. Okay? Poisonous tree. Bakit naging poisonous? Ang fruit dito would refer to the evidence. Okay, I'd like to repeat. Yung fruit dito would refer to the evidence. Ibig sabihin, ito yung evidensya na nakukuha. Yung poisonous tree, ito yung method, illegal method. Okay, ibig sabihin, ebidensya na nakuha through illegal means or through illegal method. For example, as I have stated a while ago, illegal method, you punch the suspect, bang! You get an M16 and pointed it at the face of the person and you threaten the guy. Sinabihan mo yung suspitsado, pag hindi ka talaga mag-confess ngayon, I will pull the trigger and you will die. Natural, yung suspitsado takot na takot mag-confess siya. Yung illegal means sa pag-threaten ng isang tao, sa pag-torture ng isang suspitsado would result to the confession of that person. Yung confession po is the fruit. Yung illegal means yung pag-torture o yung pag-threaten sa suspect. Ang tanong ngayon, if it is a fruit of the poisonous tree, admissible ba siya as evidence? Natural, hindi. Kasi sabi ko kanina, dapat masatisfy yung two criteria o na relevance. Pangalawa, competence. Nasatisfy yung relevance, pero hindi naman nasatisfy yung competence. Kasi nga po, hindi naaayon sa batas. For short, very easy. Fruits of the poisonous tree, mga kadete, any evidence that is illegally obtained is inadmissible in the court. I'd like to repeat. Mag-jot down kayo ha, mga kadete dyan. Ito mga criminology students, pag hindi mo sinabihang mag-jot down, hindi mag-jot down. If you happen to hear a particular statement that is somewhat new to you, or you hear in a particular discussion, ang term na ito is importante, you jot it down. No need for you to be instructed to take it down. Okay? Just jot down para at least you you can also supplement your learning. Okay? Ano yung fruit of the poisonous tree? Any evidence that is illegally obtained is inadmissible in the court. Okay? Yun po ang ibig sabihin. Yung fruit dyan, yung ebidensya. Yung poisonous tree, ano ibig sabihin? Yun po ang mga illegal method, illegal means sa pagkuha ng ebidensya. Right? Sunod, punta tayo sa kinds of admissibility of evidence. Very easy ito. Kinds of admissibility of evidence. May tatlo po tayo mga kadete. Una, conditional admissibility of evidence. Pangalawa, curative admissibility. Pangatlo, multiple admissibility of evidence. Basahin muna natin yung definition para we can get an unequivocal understanding. Una, conditional admissibility of evidence. Evidence that will be admitted although seemingly not admissible. Admitted siya, pero partial lang. Kalagay, although seemingly not admissible, provided that its relevancy would be shown in a later stage of the trial. Ibig sabihin, temporarily admitted siya. Kalagay dyan seemingly not admissible. Temporarily admitted siya. But if the offering party, yung party, later fails to provide the required connecting evidence, ang mangyayari dyan, the court may disregard it or might strike the evidence from the record. Ibig sabihin, i-prove mo muna ng evidence na ito, dapat relevant siya on a later stage of the trial. Because if you cannot prove it na relevant pala yan sa issue being raised, nako, natural, ang korte will take it down or will strike it down or will disregard it. For example, let us say in a murder case. Sa murder case, yung prosecution, nag-offer siya ng knife recovered from the accused house. Okay? Isang knife recovered. Murder case ito Ang knife po ay na-recovered from the accused house. Now, the defense might object because the prosecution has not yet shown that the knife was used in the killing. Okay? Natural, the knife will be admitted conditionally. Ibig sabihin, partial po yung pag-admit ng knife na yan. Kailanganin, ang korte must present an evidence that this knife, probably through forensic examination, the prosecution must present that this knife was really used in the killing of the victim. Pag murder case again yan, magpapresent yung prosecution, Your Honor, knife, Your Honor, the prosecution has the responsibility to prove to the court that this knife being presented is a knife that was used in stabbing the victim. Kasi nga po, pag hindi pa po na-present nila yan, that it was really the knife that was used in killing the victim, magiging conditional admissibility lang po ang ebidensya na po na yan. Bakit po conditional admissibility of evidence? Kasi nga po, ang party that offered such evidence must prove to the court about the relevancy that evidence is relevant on the issue being investigated. Okay? Kaya po, conditional admissibility of evidence. Okay? So, probably, pag knife yung na-present doon, probably you can use result of laboratory examination na nakalagay doon yung blood stains, right? Blood stains of the victim. So, the result of the laboratory examination will now prove that the knife was really used. So, if it is proven, natural, hindi na partial yung admissibility niya. Kompleto na. Kasi nga po, na-prove Pero pag hindi pa na-prove, ano po? Conditional muna. Pangalawa, curative admissibility of evidence. Ito, medyo technical ng konti. Evidence which will be admitted, although normally inadmissible, because similar inadmissible evidence has been introduced by the other party. Parang riddle Parang riddle lang. Ebidensya daw that is accepted, that can be accepted, pero normally hindi dapat siya acceptable. Ebidensya being accepted by the court, pero normally hindi dapat. Kasi nga po inadmissible siya dapat. Pero naging acceptable lang siya kasi nga po may parehong inadmissible evidence that was also presented by the other party. For short, in a plain Tagalog, ibig sabihin, a plain understandable explanation, ebidensya that by its nature, inadmissible dapat. Pero ina-accept pa din po ng korte to give fairness sa ebidensya po na inadmissible that was presented by the other party. Okay, I hope you understand. So, lagyan natin ng example. Let us say, ito yung example ha, makinig po ng maigi. Let us say yung theft na case. Okay? Let us say, si person ABC was accused of theft. Now, the prosecution might improperly introduce testimony that Ana was previously suspected of stealing from another company. Natural, ang testimony na yan is inadmissible because it does not suggest guilt basically. Let us say si person ABC pumunta doon sa office ni Maria. Okay? Kinuha niya yung 5,000 pesos from the drawer of Maria. Ang prosecution nag-present ng testimonial evidence. Ang sabi ng testimony ay itong si person ABC, ano yan when he was aging blah blah blah, he was caught stealing from a particular company. Yung testimony na yan will not actually sum up the guilt of the person. Okay? Hindi ibig sabihin na nagnakaw ka in your previous years. Hindi ibig sabihin na magiging ground na yan na para magiging guilty ka on the present act. For example, you were accused of stealing in the company last 2010. And then, here comes your case in 2020 that you are also accused of theft. The testimonial evidence would say, Your Honor, last 2010, Your Honor, he was accused in a company of stealing. Natural, it's basically, it does not sum up, it does not provide guilt in relation to the issue being investigated. Okay? So, to cure the prejudice or to cure the bias, the court may permit the defense to introduce evidence showing that person ABC was never charged or was never convicted in that incident. Or maybe the defense will also present a testimony that will declare that person ABC, in terms of the accusation last 2010, the testimony would present or would say that person ABC was dismissed or was acquitted from the investigation thereof. So, the purpose thereof of curative admissibility of evidence is that it balances between the prosecution party and the defense party in order not to create bias and prejudice between these two parties. Yung prosecution, nagpe-present siya, Your Honor, sa previous, Your Honor, previous workplace na nag-steal yan He was accused of stealing. Natural, it will not be the basis of providing guilt on the present case. Napaka-impractical naman pag ang korte magsabi, kaya pala, guilty ka ngayon sa present na kaso mo kasi in the previous years, nagnakaw ka sa ibang kumpanya. No! Hindi dapat ganyan. Dapat yung ebidensya will only prove that he was really stealing in the present case. So pag mag-present ang prosecution sa testimony na yan, natural, the court will also provide the other party, the defense party, to somehow balance everything. Magsasabi yung prosecution, Your Honor, nagnakaw yan noon, Your Honor mag-present yung defense, Your Honor, hindi yan totoo kasi nga po, acquitted ako niyan Or, Your Honor, hindi naman totoo yan. It did not happen, hindi ako yun. Okay? Yun po ang ibig sabihin ng curative admissibility of evidence. Kasi nga po, nakalagay to cure. Bakit po to cure? In order to remove bias and prejudice. Pangatlo, multiple admissibility of evidence. When the evidence not admissible for one purpose, but admissible for two or more purposes. I-translate natin Ibig sabihin, ebidensya na hindi siya pwedeng magiging acceptable to prove a certain fact. Pero pwede siyang magamit in other purposes. For example, let us say photograph. Okay? Let us say yung Tacloban na shooting incident, yung dalawang estudyante, killing 3 individuals and giving injuries to other students in Tacloban. Okay? Let us say, this little guy has a photograph of him holding a gun. Okay? He was holding a gun in a photograph. If you will present the photograph to prove to the court that it was really the guy who pulled the trigger, that photograph will become inadmissible. Kasi nga po, hindi ibig sabihin that you are having this photograph holding a gun. Hindi ibig sabihin na automatic ikaw na yung pumatay. Hindi po mag-prove ang photograph na yan na ikaw na talaga yung pumatay sa isang biktima. You are just holding a gun. So, if you will make sense of it, it's just a picture. It is inadmissible kasi nga po, hindi yan magpo-prove na ikaw yung pumatay. Inadmissible siya. Pero ang photograph na yan ay even though inadmissible in proving that the person killed this guy, it can still be used in another purposes. Ano yung another purposes na pwede magamit ang photograph na yan? Magamit siya kung ano yung kalibre in determining the caliber of the firearm or the model of the firearm. Okay? Kaya tinatawag siyang multiple admissibility of evidence kasi nga po, hindi siya magamit in one purpose pero magamit siya in other purposes. Yung sabi ko kanina, photograph showing a person holding a gun. That photograph is inadmissible in declaring that the guy was the one who shot the victim. The photograph will not prove that he was the one who shot the victim. Pero kahit po hindi siya magpo-prove, ang same photograph na yan can still be used in another purposes. Ano yung other purposes niya? Pwede yung gagamitin natin ang photograph na yan in determining kung ano yung posibleng firearm that was used in the killing, kung ano yung model or make ng firearm that was used in the killing. Yun po ang ibig sabihin ng multiple admissibility of evidence. I hope naintindihan. Now, puntahan natin ang judicial notice. Very easy lang ang judicial notice, mga kadete, ha? Basahin muna natin. The cognizance of certain facts which judge may properly take act on without proof because they already know them. Judicial notice means that courts will admit without proof of facts those matters of public concern which are known by all well-informed person. Ano ibig sabihin ng cognizance? Cognizance, ibig sabihin, being knowledgeable thereof. You are already aware about its existence. Ibig sabihin, ganito lang ha. Hindi na po kailanganing mag-present ka ng isang ebidensya to prove a certain fact that it exists kasi nga po, alam na po ng korte yan. Common knowledge na yan ng public eh. Common knowledge na yan ng korte. Alam na po. So, there's no need to prove an evidence that yung mga bagay-bagay really existed. Okay? For example, let us say, in a batch of surgery, mali-mali yung pag-operate or yung pag-surgery sa katawan ng isang tao, namatay yung biktima nag-file ng complaint yung immediate family ng biktima. Kailanganin pa bang mag-present ka ng ebidensya sa korte to prove that a person has two kidneys? O kailanganin pa bang mag-present ka sa korte to prove that a person has a heart or has a brain? Ay, natural, hindi na. Kasi nga po, by judicial notice na po yan. Alam na po ng korte yan. Or another example, kailanganin pa bang i-prove sa korte that June 12 is an Independence Day? Diba? Abnormal naman siguro, diba? Kung it's already a common knowledge, the court knows about it, so no need to present evidence to prove that thing exists. Okay? Ano ba purposes ng judicial notice? Natural, to save time, labor, and expenses. Now, kailan po maging mandatory ang judicial notice? Una, existence and territorial extent of states. No need to prove to the court that China exists, that USA exists, that we have Russia, that we have Korea. No need to prove. Alam na po ng korte yan. Diba? Napaka-abnormal naman siguro kung mag-present ka ng evidence. Oh, no, I like to present this evidence to prove that Russia exists. Ay, gago. Territorial extent or territorial boundaries, no need to present, mga kadete. Yung political history nila, forms of government, kung democratic ba, communist country ba, dictatorship, blah, blah, blah. Symbols of nationality, let's say for example, yung mga flags nila. The law of nation, mga batas ng mga bansa. Next, the Admiralty and Maritime Courts of the world and their seals, pati yung selyo nila. The political constitution and history of the Philippines, no need. The official acts of legislative, executive, and judicial departments of the national government of the Philippines, the laws of nature. For short, under number 7, yung mga batas, okay? Batas na ginawa ng legislative or yung yung function ng presidente or yung sa judicial departments, no need to prove to the court about their functions, their responsibilities, yung mga nagawa nila Ano yung official act ng legislative? Yung paggawa ng batas. Executive, yung pag-approve ng batas. Judicial department, yung pag-interpret or pag-apply sa batas. So, do you need evidence to prove that Republic Act 9165 exists? Hindi na po. No need. Kailangan niya pa bang i-prove sa korte na may Republic Act 9344 tayo? There's no need. The measure of time. Ano ibig sabihin ng measure of time? Are you going to present evidence in the court to prove that 60 minutes is equivalent to 1 hour? Or you are going to prove to the court na 1 minute is equivalent to 60 seconds? Ay, nako. The geographical divisions or yung mga territorial limits po natin, there's no need to prove it to the court. Pero pwede din po maging discretionary siya or it's up to the wise judgment. Ibig sabihin ng wise judgment, discretionary. Discretionary, wise judgment of the court. Una, yung mga bagay-bagay that is already of public knowledge. Pangalawa, ito, number 2, ito yung medyo technical. Are capable to unquestionable demonstration. Ibig sabihin na unquestionable, talagang walang doubt na tama yan. Unquestionable demonstration. For example, may isang mapa. A map that will tell the distance between Manila to Baguio. Okay? A map that will tell the distance between Manila and Baguio as shown by the map. So basically, that's what we call as unquestionable demonstration. Pag ang issue is the travel time, especially on hot pursuit operation, travel time between Manila to Baguio, of course, it will be determined kung ilan bang kilometro ang Manila to Baguio. Okay? Maging discretionary yan kung alam na po ng korte kung ano yung talaga yung distansya. Alright? Pero pag hindi niya alam ng korte na ito pala yung distansya, it can be proven by a map. Kaya nakalagay discretionary. Pangatlo, ought to be known to judges because of their judicial functions. Ibig sabihin, dapat alam ng judge yan. Kasi nga po, parte yan ng responsibility niya eh. For example, yung jurisprudence about self-defense, there's no need to prove evidence that jurisprudence really existed. Kasi nga po, dapat alam nila po ng korte yan. Kasi nga po, that's part of their function. Okay? Dapat pa bang i-present sa korte ang ebidensya about organization of the courts that were arranged into regular courts, quasi-judicial courts, special courts? There's no need kasi nga po, alam na nila yan eh, kasi parte yan ang function ng korte. Okay? Yun po ang grounds for judicial notice that it will become discretionary. Alright? Sunod. Punta tayo sa specific rules of admissibility under Rule 130. Ito, kanina pinag-usapan natin admissibility of evidence. Ano sabi ko kanina? Dapat masatisfy yung dalawang kriteria. Ano yung unang kriteria? Relevance. Pangalawa, competence. Okay? Ito yung mga specific admissibility under Rule 130. Una, documentary evidence. Ano yung documentary? When does a material be considered as a document? Ito po, dinidiscuss ko ito sa question document examination. Punta kayo doon. Pinag-usapan ko yan in a very comprehensive manner. Okay? Hindi po lahat ng mga may marka, may simbolo, or may litra, hindi lahat magiging dokumento. For example, unfilled form. Unfilled form. Ibig sabihin, blank may form siya. For example, withdrawal slip or deposit slip. May ano yan, may mga nakalagay dyan, name, bank account number, signature. Pero unfilled up pa siya. Ibig sabihin, hindi pa na-fill up. Natural, hindi siya document. Yung payroll na hindi pa po na-sign by the approving authority, it's not a document. Okay? Alright? So, go with question document examination. Okay? Now, ano yung general requirements for a documentary evidence to become admissible? Tatlo po dito. Relevance, no need to discuss that kasi pinag-usapan na yan a while ago. Competence, no need. Dito ako sa authenticity. Ano ibig sabihin ng authenticity? Dapat genuine. Dapat original. The document must be proven to be genuine and not fabricated. Hindi dapat gawa-gawa yan from recto. Okay? Dapat original siya. Dapat i-prove mo doon na authentic siya, na relevant siya, na competent siya. Okay? Dito muna tayo sa classes of documents. Again, pinag-usapan ko dito sa question document examination, pero balikan natin ng konti. Okay? Una, public document. The following are public documents. Una, the written official acts or records of the official acts of the sovereign authority, official bodies and tribunals, and public officers, whether of the Philippines or of a foreign country. Ibig sabihin, ng written official acts, plain and simple, these are the actual official documents issued by the government authorities in the exercise of their power. For short, mga actual official documents again issued by the government authorities in the exercise of their power. Okay, for example, let us say, ano ba yung dokumento na ini-issue ng Legislative Department? Natural, mga batas. Okay? Mga batas. So, ang batas po na Republic Act 9165, 9344, 603, 968, so on and so forth, mga public documents yan kasi open yan to the public. Okay? Yung mga executive orders, okay? Dapat ano yan? Dapat makikita for public use yan. Yung mga declaration of bidding, lahat mga ano yan, mga public documents yan. So anything related po sa official function sa isang empleyado ng gobyerno ay magiging ano siya, public document. Except, may exception, natural. In every role, there is an exception. Especially, pag ang document na yan is under classified matters. For example, top secret siya, natural, even though it is issued or made by through official function of a government employee, it does not have to be disclosed in the public. Okay? But the point in here is that, generally speaking, yung mga dokumento po that was executed by a government employee, parte po siya sa public document. Next, documents acknowledged before a notary public except last wills and testaments. May exceptions dyan, ha? Ang ibig sabihin, nakanotaryo siya, Brad. Pag nakanotaryo siya, natural, ang dokumento na yan, from private, magiging public document. Pero, may exceptions, Brad, ha? Ang exception dito, last will and testament. Doon nakalagay yung kung sinong Poncio Pilato ang mag-inherit sa property na yan. Last will and testament yan. For example, yung parent mo almost to die, naglagay ng last will and testament, naka-notaryo siya. Hindi pa siya maklasify as public document kasi exemption siya dito. But other documents na naka-notaryo from private magiging public document yan. Okay? Lahat ba ng abogado makapag-notaryo? Hindi. Kailanganin po yung permit nila. Ano yung permit? Yung notarial commission ang tawag doon. Notarial commission, ito yung permit na siyang or lisensya na siyang magpapatunay ng isang tao nito, ang isang abogado na ito ay makapag-notaryo. Okay? Number 3, public records kept in the Philippines of private. Okay? Private documents required by law to the entered therein or to required by law to be entered therein. Okay? Public records kept in the Philippines of private documents required by law to be entered therein. Okay? Ibig sabihin, ganito yan. Una, private document siya. Okay? Pero, it is required that it will be deposited in a public agency. Una, private document siya. Pero it is meant to be submitted to a public agency. Ang dokumento na yan ay magiging public document. Okay? Lagyan natin ng example. Let us say, for example, pag nanganak yung ina. Pag nanganak yung ina, iproseso po yung birth certificate niya doon sa registrar ng hospital. Okay? Ang birth certificate na yan is a private document. But it is meant to be kept as a public record kasi nga po, isa-submit yan eh. Saan ba i-submit yan? Doon sa PSA. Okay? Sa Philippine Statistics Authority. Same with marriage contract. Yung na-filled up na marriage contract, yung may signature na, it's basically, it's meant to be part of the public record kasi nga po, i-submit yan sa PSA. Yung marriage contract na yan, yung marriage certificate na yan, yung death certificate na yan ay magiging public document po. Pangalawa mga kadete, pag hindi public document, meron tayong official document issued by the government or its agents or its officers having the authority to do and the offices which in accordance with their creation, they are authorized to issue and be issued in the performance of their duties. For example, CHED Memorandum Order, that's an official document. Letter of Instruction, that's an official document. Or memorandum order coming from the LTO, that's an official document. Anything that is issued by a government agency that pertains to the function, that's gonna be an official document. Number 3, private document executed by a private person without the intervention of a notary public. Ibig sabihin, walang notaryo. Or of any person legally authorized by which document some disposition or agreement is proved, evidence, or set forth. O magiging, ano po siya, ang tawag sa kanya is private document. A diary of a person is a private document. Yung libro ninyo is a private document. Lahat po ng ginagawa po natin, so long as hindi po siya nakanotaryo, is considered to be a private document. Next, pangatlo po, commercial document. Ito yung dokumento executed in accordance with the Code of Commerce or the Mercantile Law containing disposition of commercial rights or obligation. For example, deed of sale. Bininta mo yung lupa, nag-execute ka ng deed of sale. Is it commercial document? Commercial document yan. Kontrata between one business institution and the other business institution. Commercial document siya kasi nga po, in accordance with the Code of Commerce siya. Ito yung pang-last, ito yung latest natin, electronic document. Okay? Ano yung mga electronic document? Yung produkto po ng computer. O produkto ng technology. For example, let us say, screenshot sa post na pinahiya ka doon sa Facebook. Maging documentary, electronic document yan. Or, yung email niya, that's electronic document. E-signature yan, that's electronic. Anything that is a product of computer or technology ay magiging electronic document. Yun po ang classes of documents natin. Alright. Sunod. Proof of notarial documents. Every instrument duly acknowledged or proved and certified as provided by law may be presented in evidence without further proof. Okay, ganito ha. Ano yung criteria natin? In order for documentary evidence to be considered as admissible, anong sabi ko kanina? Dapat relevant siya. Dapat authentic siya. Pangatlo, dapat competent siya. Pag ang isang dokumento nakanotaryo po, hindi na po kailanganing i-prove sa korte na ang dokumento na yan is authentic. I'd like to repeat. Pag ang isang dokumento nakanotaryo, there's no need to prove to the court that such evidence is genuine or authentic. Kasi nga po, nakanotaryo na siya. For short, one of the benefits of a notarized document is that once it will be presented in the court, there's no need for you to prove the authenticity thereof. Again balik tayo mga criminology makinig po ng maigi. Ano ba yung criteria para magiging admissible yung documentary evidence? Una, relevance. Pangalawa, authenticity. Pangatlo, competence. Dapat ang criteria na yan, ma-meet lahat. Kasi pag relevant siya, competent, pero hindi naman authentic, di naman genuine, posibleng hindi. Pero posible ding ma-accept siya pag mabilong siya sa secondary evidence. But the point right now is dapat authentic, dapat original, dapat genuine siya. Okay? So pag nakanotaryo, no need for evidence to prove that it is authentic. Number 2, effect of notarization to private documents. Lahat po ng private documents na nakanotaryo ay, again, mag-transition po siya into public documents. So, kapag, Memorandum of Agreement between Foundation University and the Philippine National Police in terms of the internship program, pag nakanotaryo na yan, ang private document na yan, ay magiging public documents. Hence, it becomes admissible in evidence without further proof of its authenticity. Note, documents written in an in an unofficial language shall be admitted as evidence. Shall not be admitted as evidence unless accompanied with a translation into English or Filipino. Ito yung masaklap. Kasi nga po, English yung medium of communication natin eh. Yung official language natin sa korte, English yan eh, hindi Bisaya. Kaya sa mga kadate natin dyan ha, please sharpen your lexical accuracy. Please improve, amplify your English communication. Kasi nga po, very important po yan doon sa korte. If you wanted to become a police officer, if your ambition is to become a police officer, time will come, you will go to the court and you will testify. Especially if you're a police photographer, an arresting officer, or you're involved in a raid or a bypass operation, there might be a time that you will be summoned by the court to testify. And you're going to speak in English, whether you like it or not, because that's basically the official language in the court. Pag ang mga dokumento ay hindi po siya naka-English, hindi po siya official language, it has to be translated in English or Filipino. May naka-attach, for example, confession niya, naka-Bisaya. Kasi dapat language known to the confessor eh. So pag Bisaya siya, Bisaya yung ano niya, yung confession niya, dapat naka-attach doon sa confession na yan, ang English or Filipino translation. Yun ang requirement. Sunod. Ito yung latest. The original document. Nung una, tinatawag itong best evidence rule. Okay? Best evidence rule. Pero, pinalitan siya ngayon, original document na ang tawag. Original document rule. Kasi nga po, na the reason why it was been replaced with a new name because yung best evidence rule kasi napaka-confusing. Confusing siya because it might apply to, it would connote that it applies to everything. So it was changed to original documents rule to really specify na ang rule na ito will only be applicable to documents. Ayun. Original document rule. Ito, yung ruling po. When the subject of inquiry is the contents of a document, no evidence is admissible other than the original document itself. Very easy. Ano ibig sabihin? Under the original document rule, pag ang i-prove sa korte ay parte or content sa dokumento na yan, dapat ang dokumento na isubmit or i-present, dapat yung original. Hindi yung kopya lang. Dapat original talaga. Okay? Ano bang ibig sabihin ng original? An original of a document is a document itself or dokumento mismo na yung original or any counterpart. Ano ibig sabihin ng counterpart? For example, let us say Memorandum of Agreement. Example lang MOA, Memorandum of Agreement. Ang Memorandum of Agreement ay reproduced it into 3 copies. Okay? 3 copies siya mga kadete. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng 3 copies na yan ay may wet specimen. May signature siya. Ang unang kopya is original. Pangalawang kopya is original. Pangatlong kopya original. Ibig sabihin, mga counterparts yung pangalawa at pangatlo. Okay? Pero original pa din po yung pangalawa at pangatlong copies. Counterparts siya kasi nga po, the document is produced in 3 original copies. Yun po, napakasimple. 3 original copies. So, original siya. It could be the only, when you say document itself, ibig sabihin, isang kopya na original. Counterpart, ibig sabihin, may 2 or may 3, may 4 na mga original na kopya. Kasi nga po, it was produced in a number of copies. Okay? So, I hope naintindihan. Sunod, exceptions. When the original is lost or destroyed or cannot be produced in court without bad faith on the part of the proponent. Okay, isa-isa. Himahimayin natin Ibig sabihin, ano sabi ko kanina? Original document rule. Dapat yung original yung i-present. Hindi yung kabit. Dapat yung original na wife ang i-present on sa public. Hindi yung kabit. Pero pag wala na yung original, wala na, patay na lost or destroyed na napag-iwanan na Ang natural, or cannot be produced, hindi siya ma-produce doon sa korte. Without bad faith on the part of the proponent, di natural, pwede yung another copy of the document. Kasi nga po, it was lost, it was destroyed, or Hindi na alam yung whereabouts, you cannot produce in the court without bad faith on the part of the... Ito yung medyo technical dito. Without bad faith on the part of the proponent. Dapat walang bad faith on the part of the proponent. Ibig sabihin, pag ikaw yung nagpe-present doon sa korte, you will not tell the court that, Your Honor, the original was lost because I burn it. If you burn it, that's with bad faith. Dapat without bad faith. Ibig sabihin, you do not have the intention of destroying it. You do not have the intention of losing it. Okay? So, basically, yun po ibig sabihin ng without bad faith on the part of the proponent. Pero pag original siya, and then you burn it, nako, natural, ang another copy will not be considered as or it cannot be accepted. Kasi nga po, with bad faith sinunog mo Number 2, when the original is in the custody of the adverse party and the latter fails to produce it despite reasonable notice. Ibig sabihin, yung original na document andon sa kabilang party. Ibig sabihin, ikaw yung complainant. Ang pinag-awayan nyo, yung titulo. Yung titulo na original, andon sa, andon sa accused andon sa accused na parte. Hindi sila mag-produce sa original na yan. Pwedeng yung another copy. Okay? Exception yan. Pangatlo, when the document is a public record in the custody of a public officer or is recorded in a public office. Okay? For example, birth certificate, death certificate, marriage contract, or marriage certificate, andun yan sa PSA. So, exception siya. Pwede ang korte will require you to get a copy, certified true copy from the PSA. Okay, magiging original siya. Magagamit siya. Okay? When the original is voluminous and a summary is allowed, provided certain conditions are met. Okay? Ito. Pag-usapan natin ito, yung voluminous later on. Tawag ito mga summaries. Pero, I'll give you a brief introduction. Ibig sabihin, pag marami po yung dokumento, ibig sabihin, ang dami, voluminous siya. That if you will go piece by piece, it will take a lot of time. For example, let us say dispute. Ano yung dispute? Nagpe-present ng resibo. Ang resibo consists of, let us say, 1,000 copies of receipts to prove that this person was giving money to this guy. 1,000 receipts. Naku, pag isa-isahin mo yan, it will take a lot of time. So, summary lang. Okay? Summary about the receipts. Alright? So, ang summary na yan, exception yan under the original document rule. Ibig sabihin, ang summary na yan ay magiging admissible pa din. Okay? Pero we will further talk about it later on. Right? Next, note, in a landmark decision issued on February 3, 2025, makinig po ng maigi ha, the Supreme Court ruled that a photocopy, ito po yung bago natin mga brad, photocopy is admissible in evidence to the same extent as the original. Oy, mga brad, sa old curriculum, ang photocopy, secondary evidence lang yan. Pero ngayon, hindi na. Considered na siya as original duplicate. Yun po ang correct term na yan, original duplicate. Ibig sabihin, original siya. Noong araw, hindi siya original yung photocopy. Ngayon, original na po. Okay? As long as there is no genuine question about the authenticity of the original or that its admission would be unjust or inequitable, it is qualified as duplicate under the revised rules. So, magiging considered siya as a original duplicate po. Ibig sabihin, hindi na po siya secondary evidence. So, let us say, may photocopy ka, sa land title, ang photocopy na yan, so long at is not questioned as, in terms of its originality, ay it is not questioned in accordance to its authenticity, ang dokumento na yan na photocopy is already considered as original duplicate. Okay? Ano ba ang duplicate? Any counterpart produced by photography, mechanical, or electronic recording, or other equivalent techniques that accurately reproduce the original. Duplicates are admissible unless genuine question is raised on the original's authenticity, baka may erasure, baka may obliteration. Nako, hindi siya natural. Hindi siya magiging original. Pero pag wala, okay lang. Admitting the duplicate is unjust or inequitable. Okay? So, bakit unjust siya or inequitable? Unjust siya kasi nga po it does not portray the original or the authentic or the real contents of a particular document. Okay? So, again, photocopy mga kaditi, admissible na po siya, same as original. Yung term po na ginagamit dito is original duplicate. Okay? Hindi na po siya secondary evidence. Okay? Sunod, ito lumabas ito sa board examination mga kaditi, ancient document. Ancient. Okay? Ang luma na siguro kasi ancient na, lumang document. It is a document which is more than 30 years old. The magic number natin is 30 years old. More than 30 years old, found in the proper custody and unblemished by any alteration or circumstance of suspicion. Where a private document is more than 30 years old, more than 30 hindi 30, more than, is produced from the custody in which it would naturally be found if genuine and is unblemished by any alteration or circumstances of suspicion, no other evidence of its authenticity need be given. For short, ganito yan. Pag ang document, private document, you need to prove to the court na authentic siya, di ba? Pero pag notarize siya, you do not need to prove to the court that it is authentic. Now, let us say private document ito. Okay? Private document ito, and it was executed more than 30 years ago. Unblemished siya kasi nga po walang alterations, o walang indications of forgery, o walang indications of erasures or substitution in the document. More than 30 years old na. Hindi na po kailanganing mag-present ka ng evidence to prove the authenticity thereof. Ano ibig sabihin? Ibig sabihin ng ancient document, yung more than 30 years old na dokumento. Pag more than 30 years old yan, so long as it is unblemished, wala siyang form of alteration, or wala siyang suspicion in terms of forgery or any kind of fraud sa dokumento na yan, you do not need to prove to the court that such document is authentic. Kasi nga po, documents that are more than 30 years old are basically considered to be authentic. Pero may requirements. Ano yung requirements? Dapat unblemished siya. Dapat walang alteration. Yun. Okay? Lumabas yan sa board examination. Magic number natin ha, more than 30. More than 30 mga kaditi. Next! Punta tayo secondary evidence. Okay? So, secondary evidence, that which is admissible when the best evidence is not available. Yun ang sabi ko kanina. Okay? Pag wala yung original evidence, punta ka ngayon sa secondary evidence. Or any evidence other than the original document itself or one which is inferior to the best evidence. This is also known as substitutionary. This is also known as substitutionary evidence or inferior evidence. Bakit inferior siya? Kasi nga po, may original evidence rule tayo eh. Dapat original, dapat yung isubmit. Pero pag hindi naman available yung original, balik tayo sa secondary evidence. Okay, next. When secondary evidence is allowed, kailan po magiging allowed yung secondary evidence? Una, the existence or due execution of the original document. The party must prove that the original document actually existed and was duly executed or signed, the reason or for the non-production of the original. Ibig sabihin, kailan po magiging allowed yung secondary evidence? Magiging allowed lang po siya. Dapat una i-prove na may talagang nag-exist na original document. Okay? Nawala lang. Okay? Dapat i-prove sa korte na may original document nito pero nawala lang. Or maybe nasunog lang. Yon. Pangalawa, the party must show why the original cannot be presented. Ano bang rason? Bakit hindi siya ma-present? Yung original. Una, Your Honor. Ayun, nawala. Nawala, Your Honor. Or, Your Honor, nasunog yung bahay namin. Or, it cannot be obtained despite reasonable efforts. Talaga, Your Honor, I put it in my U-box of my motorcycle. But when I open my U-box, it was gone. I searched it everywhere. But, Your Honor, to no avail, I was not able to recover it. It is in the position of the adverse party who, after reasonable notice, fails to produce it. So, ano ibig sabihin nito? Ang original document andun sa adverse party. Yun ang sabi ko kanina, titulo ng yuta. Ang titulo po ng lupa is in the adverse party, sa other party, and upon notice for the other party to produce it, hindi sila nakapag-produce. So, hindi sila nakapag-produce, then, exemption yan under the original evidence rule. So, ibig sabihin, pwede ka mag-present ng secondary evidence kasi nga po, hindi sila nagpo-produce ng original eh. Pero magpo-produce sila ng original ng titulo ng lupa na magpapatunay na sila talaga yung may-ari, patay ka. So, wala kang magawa dyan. Pero pag hindi nila ma-present, pwede ka makapresent ng secondary evidence. Okay? Again, ito sabi ko kanina, dapat walang bad faith. Okay? This is only allowed only if the party did not intentionally cause the original to disappear. Plain and simple, dapat wala pong act na ini-execute ng party that would lead to the disappearance of the original document. If the act is burning or tearing off or shredding the document for the document not to be discovered, ay bad faith yan, Brad. You will not be allowed to present a secondary evidence kasi bad faith eh. Okay? The loss of destruction or inability to produce the original must not have been caused by the party's fraud, dishonesty, or intentional misconduct. Okay? When original document is unavailable, pag hindi available po, again, resort po tayo sa secondary evidence. Una, a copy. Again, sabi ko kanina photocopy is now a duplicate original. Therefore, a photocopy is no longer a secondary evidence. Pangalawa, by a recital of its contents in some authentic document. O ganito. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng recital of its contents in some authentic document? Mangyayari ito pag ang isang dokumento disappeared or was lost or was destroyed. Pero ang contents in such document can be found in other documents. Let us say, for example, let us say, deed of sale. Pag deed of sale yan, mga kaditi, di ba, naka-indicate yan kung ano yung presyo ng isang lupa or yung property, kung ano yung property that has been bought. Let us say, the deed of sale was lost. How will you prove to the court na may buying that was done? Kahit na wala yung deed of sale, yung kopya thereof, wala yung original, talagang wala. Pero may confirmation of sale ka. Anong ibig sabihin ng confirmation of sale? Ito yung legal document that will confirm that a particular property was bought. Iba yung deed of sale, iba yung confirmation of sale. Sa deed of sale, it will tell ko ano yung property being bought, ano yung presyo, ano yung mga provisions doon nakalagay. Ang confirmation of sale is just to confirm that the person sell this land and then you buy it. So, nawala yung deed of sale, pero may confirmation of sale ka. Naturally, you can still prove it to the court. Okay? So, pwede siyang ma-present as part of the secondary evidence. Maging acceptable siya. Right? Next, by the testimony of witnesses in the order stated. Wala kang confirmation sale, a confirmation of sale. Wala kang deed of sale. Kasi deed of sale na wala. Wala ka namang confirmation of sale. So, anong gagawin? Ay kailanganin ng witness. Mag-witness stand ka. Okay? Ang witness that must have actually read or yung witness that was able to prepare it, to sign it, or was able to become familiar with the document's contents. So, pag walang original, pwede, secondary evidence ka by means of a testimony coming from the witness. Your Honor, ito po ang nakalagay sa deed of sale, Your Honor, the piece of land that we are going to buy, nasa lot 130-A, blah, blah, blah. Ito po yung amount, Your Honor. Ibig sabihin, nagtestimony yung witness that will prove the contents thereof. Yung testimony niya, magiging secondary evidence of the original. Okay? Pero again, between the testimony of the witness and the original, ang kailangan natin original. Pero pag wala yung original, ano ang isunod natin? Secondary evidence. By means of what? A copy, recital of its contents, or testimony of the witness. Okay, next. When original document is in the adverse party, ito yung sabi ko kanina, dapat bigyan muna sila ng reasonable notice to produce it, yung adverse party. If after such notice and after satisfactory proof of its existence, he fails to produce the document, yung other party, a secondary evidence may be presented as in the case of its loss. Titulo ng lupa andun sa ibang party, hindi sila makapag-produce o ikaw na party can supply the court with secondary evidence. Pero pag may dokumento sila na original, na natural, yung secondary evidence mo will not matter. Kasi nga po, original evidence rule tayo eh. Original document rule tayo eh. Okay? Alright. Original document rule. Sunod. Summaries. Okay? Summaries, ito yung sabi ko kanina ha. When the contents of the document records photographs or numerous accounts are voluminous and cannot be examined in court without great loss of time, and the fact sought to be established is only the general result of the whole, the contents of such document may be presented in the form of chart, summary, or calculation. Kasi nga po, ang dami practically, it will take a lot of time. For example, again, yung sabi ko kanina, 1,000 copies of receipts. If you will present it one by one, abot kayo ng 1 millennium bago ma-solve yung kaso. So, natural summary lang. Okay? Pero the original shall be available for examination or copying or both. Ibig sabihin, dapat yung original na resibo, dapat available siya para ma-examine on the other party or para ma-photocopy by the other party. Okay? The court may order that they be produced in court. Okay? Last, when original document is a public record, when the original of a document is in the custody of the public officer or is recorded in a public office, its contents may be proved by a certified copy issued by the public officer in the custody thereof. Ibig sabihin, ito yung sabi ko kanina ha, dapat pag public record kasi siya. Don't need to prove the authenticity thereof, pero kailanganin yung certified true copy from that agency. Pag birth certificate siya, it's a public record, death certificate, marriage contract, pero again, may nakalagay doon sa dokumento from the PSA na certified true copy siya. Okay? To prove its authenticity or originality thereof. Alright, mag-stop muna tayo dito mga kadete ha. We will go with the other topics in the other episode. Maraming salamat. God bless everyone. Tiwala sa Diyos. Tiwala sa sarili.